Trans men are much less visible than trans women. But why is this so? It has everything to do with how we, as a collective society, value each gender. Women are valued by society on their youth, their beauty, and their physical attractiveness. I'm not saying it's right, but it's just the way it is. It's reality. Men, on the other hand, are valued on their wealth, wisdom, income, work, their ability to provide and to take care of others from their financial resources. You won't see many trans men dancing around a stripper's pole or working in the sex and pornography industries. There's simply no demand. Women don't want that from men, and they're certainly not interested in paying for it in the vast majority of cases. But we see plenty of examples of young trans women working in the sex and entertainment industries and earning excellent incomes in some cases. Young men are given a hard time by society. That's because young men need resources and energy put into them by older, wiser, and more experienced men before they're able to provide value back to society via their work. This is why it sucks to be a young man. Young women, in comparison, are sitting on $1 million check just by existing. A young, beautiful woman, for example, is more powerful than the US president. Her looks can attract a large number of men. She can and does use her rejection card to select from and choose the best man her looks can attract. Female hypergamy has been greatly amplified by technology and social media. A woman's selection pool of men is no longer local, it's global. That's why so many men are checking out of society or leaving the Western world. They can't find women that are anywhere near as good as their mothers, and certainly not on the level of their grandmothers. So these men, having correctly identified the issues in their home countries, go to places in the world where they're the ones being looked up to versus being looked over in the Western world. The Western man being greatly valued, especially as a husband and resource provider overseas, versus the Western woman who, if they tried it on, they would have a very tough time competing with the local women. This, I might add, is why passport bros are shamed. Despite not being attractive to Western women, the passport bro, by his actions, signals to other men that the grass is greener outside the country. A man who leaves his home country might give richer, more powerful men dangerous ideas that are not in the best interests of the Western woman. One of the many reasons I went to Pattaya, Thailand, which is on the world stage for the sex industry, was to see if my theories and my years of research on gender issues were correct. I saw and I experienced nothing that made me change my views. Nothing. If anything, my views were reinforced and made stronger. One of the greatest challenges a trans woman faces is detransitioning, to go from being valued as a woman to being valued and expected to perform financially as a man and being treated as a utility again. This is my theory as to why we see so much sadness and suicide in the male to female transgender community. Aging, and with it not passing, is greatly feared by trans women. Having the heart, the mind, and the soul of a woman, and not being able to express that physically is very stressful. The world being but a mirror, reflecting back to them the world's expectations, that because they now look like a man, they will be treated as such and expected to provide. To go from being catered to and provided for to being the caterer and provider is very difficult. I keep telling young trans women to save and invest the sometimes large amounts of money they earn from sex work and to build a skill set that doesn't depend upon their image, their youth, and their beauty. They're going to need both in time. Many have ignored my words until they hit age 30. Then my words come back to them. The market signaling to them that their services have declined in value. The market has greatly shrunk, and now they're looking towards Poindexter for support. We must remember that the $1 million check a trans woman gains from taking female hormones is not on par with the $1 million check a genetic woman who is capable of reproduction is given simply by existing. The check can only be cashed in by working in the sex industry, in most cases, and with some exceptions, of course. I've known and I've seen a number of trans women age out of the industry. Only a few have made it. They tended to be the most savvy, the most business-minded, and the most reflecting and thinking of individuals versus their peers. You can see all this stuff play out very clearly when you work in the transgender community, especially if you're behind the lens of a camera like I have been in the past, and behind the desk of a nightlife, entertainment, and sex industry specific Bitcoin digital exchange and remittance provider, like I am now. All the best, gentlemen. I'm the Pretender.